It's now common knowledge that we are living in a simulation. The world is one big reality show and has been scripted by the numbers. The occult and the higher-ups on the pyramid has always simplified their doings by encoding numbers, hiding them in plain sight while mocking the masses using basic math, by Satan designing the system. Both opposing sides of the chessboard is set up and rigged for their pawns, which are the politicians and entertainers, to win and influence culture and push this simulation forward. The sheep are wired to think emotionally, so they're unable to see the gray areas. This is why I believe that the former President Donald Trump will make a return. The Donald Trump versus Joe Biden election was just as real as your favorite reality show, Evil versus Evil. The narrative was painted as Joe Biden being the lesser of the two evils, but they are both like created Marvel characters. Trump was the supervillain and Biden was the superhero. They used Trump to be a character that was the traditional old-school masculine man, who was not politically correct, advocated for God, religion, family values, and was against homosexuality, as most blacks typically were. Joe Biden is the total opposite, but this was a tactic that the occult used to divide and conquer the sheep, make the masses hate Trump so much, by using the major media outlets to twist his words and cause outrage, distract you from their evil plans that he was revealing. Then it would lead you down a trap, where the masses will cheer, root and willfully give up all of their rights and freedom. Even if the entire world voted for Trump, Biden still wins because it's scripted. People who are not politically correct will be canceled. Trump being silenced is for those who refuse to conform. The occult and the higher-ups on the pyramid has always simplified their doings by encoding numbers, hiding them in plain sight while mocking the masses using basic math.
We can't ease public health restrictions until cases are way down. We all want to have a summer where we can see our loved ones and invite friends over for barbecues. We can have that summer. We can have a one-dose summer. But for that, two things need to happen. First, restrictions need to remain in place until cases go way down with more screening, testing, and contact tracing. We need to successfully limit community transmission. Second, as Dr. Tam said, at least 75% of Canadians need to have received their first shots. And we need to keep ramping up those second doses. At least 75% of Canadians, at least 75% of Canadians, at least 75% of Canadians.
Gain-of-function research, as you know, is juicing up naturally occurring animal viruses to infect humans. To arrive at the truth, the U.S. government should admit that the Wuhan Virology Institute was experimenting to enhance the coronavirus's ability to infect humans. Juicing up superviruses is not new. Scientists in the U.S. have long known how to mutate animal viruses to infect humans. For years, Dr. Ralph Baric, a virologist in the U.S., has been collaborating with Dr. Shi Zhengli of the Wuhan Virology Institute, sharing his discoveries about how to create superviruses. This gain-of-function research has been funded by the NIH. The collaboration between the U.S. and the Wuhan Virology Institute continues. Doctors Baric and Shi worked together to insert bat virus spike protein into the backbone of the deadly SARS virus, and then use this man-made supervirus to infect human airway cells. Think about that for a moment. The SARS virus had a 15% mortality. We're fighting a pandemic that has about a 1% mortality. Can you imagine if a SARS virus that's been juiced up and had viral proteins added to it, to the spike protein, if that were released accidentally? Dr. Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of the lab in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute
Do they
of
fund
Virology.
Dr. Barrick? Do you support that the money from NIH that was going to the Wuhan Institute?
Let me explain to you why that was done. The SARS-CoV-1 originated in bats in China. It would have been irresponsible of us if we did not investigate the bat viruses and the serology to see who might have been infected.
Or perhaps it would be
in China.
irresponsible to send it to the Chinese government that we may not be able to trust with this knowledge and with this incredibly dangerous viruses. Government scientists like yourself who favor gain-of-function research.
I don't favor gain-of-function research in China. You are saying things that are not correct.
Will you, in front of this group, categorically say that the COVID-19 could not have occurred through serial passage in a laboratory?
I do not have any accounting of what the Chinese may have done, and I'm fully in favor of any further investigation of what went on in China. However, I will repeat again, the NIH and NIAID categorically has not funded gain-of-function research to be conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
I've allowed it here. We have a committee to do it, but the committee has granted every exemption. You're fooling with Mother Nature here. You're allowing super viruses to be created with a 15% mortality. It's very dangerous. I think it was a huge mistake to share this with China, and it's a huge mistake to allow this to continue in the United States. And we should be very careful to investigate where this virus came from.
I fully agree that you should investigate where the virus came from. But again, we have not funded gain-of-function research on this virus in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. No matter how many times you say it,
there was
didn't happen.
The violence between Israeli forces and Palestinian militants entered a fifth day on Friday, with fresh airstrikes, artillery fire, and rocket attacks. The Israeli military said in a statement shortly after midnight, the air and ground forces were attacking Gaza. Rocket barrages from the Hamas-run enclave swiftly followed. Witnesses said many families living in areas of Gaza near the border fled their homes, some seeking shelter at United Nations-run schools. On Thursday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country's military campaign will take more time.
The defense activity of Iron Dome batteries is giving us an offensive space, and the IDF has already attacked hundreds of targets. We will soon pass 1,000. We continue striking Hamas while defending our citizens.
A funeral was held on Thursday for Hamas commander killed in the Israeli strikes. Since Monday, more than 100 people have been killed in Gaza, including dozens of children, medical officials said. On the Israeli side, authorities said 7 people had been killed, including a soldier who was laid to rest on Thursday. International calls for an end to the hostilities have so far had no effect, as both sides show no sign of stepping down.
Altitude. 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 Altitude.